was your audition with Jay-Z? Tell me what he said to you.
A really good audition.
Yes.
But before I met him, I was so nervous. I was shaking literally. But the moment I walked into the office, the atmosphere was so warm and welcoming.
And you had to sing a cappella for him?
Yes, I had to sing. I sang Pon de Replay. I sang another ballad from the album last time.
So then what did he say to you? He said something to you.
Oh, yes. He said, we don't sing songs here. We sing artists. And there was this little pause, and I was nervous. But then he said, and we're interested. And there was this sudden feel of relief.
But then he said something about a window and a door or something.
Oh, then he said, he did it homework.
I did a lot of homework on you, Miss Lady.
He said, there are two ways to leave here, either through the door with the deal sign or through this window, and we're on the 29th floor.
So you was like, where's the pen? Where's the paper? I'm signing.
Yeah.
And I'm sure working with Jay-Z, you met Beyonce.
That's right.
How was it like meeting her?
I could not speak.
Really?
Really. That's someone I really looked up to for a long time. And it was after one of my showcases, and he was introducing me to everyone from the label. Then he finally said, okay, one more person. And there she was. And I could not speak.
And she gave you some advice.
Yes, she did. She just told me to, when I get on stage, let loose, have fun, and be in control.
Yeah, and don't be afraid to let it go.
No.
Because she'd be like, what? You know how she does it. But we're going to be hooking up the whole audience with your CD.
Oh, thank you!
Rihanna is finally breaking her silence on what Jay-Z did to her when she was just 17 years old, and the details are way more disturbing than you may think. There were already rumors going around for years that he and Rihanna had an intimate relationship when she was just 17, and he allegedly ended up infecting her with an STD, which he gave to Chris Brown and Travis Scott. To make matters even worse, all this is coming out around the same time that he's getting sued for allegedly gang raping a 13-year-old at a party. It's really giving Diddy 2.0. The topic around Rihanna allegedly getting sued by Jay was brought back up a few days ago when Jay and Diddy were sued for allegedly saying a 13-year-old girl. Now, if we all remember, there were some rumors going around back in the day about Jay making Rihanna his side piece when she was just 17. This was shortly after she signed a D-Jam record. The rumor about the affair was started by Rihanna's publicist at the time, and the news spread quickly like wildfire. It got way worse when Rihanna herself recalled how Jay would lock her up in his office till 3 a.m. Okay, tell me about your audition with Jay-Z. Tell me what he said. A really good audition, but before I met him, I was so nervous. I was shaking literally, but the moment I walked into the office, the atmosphere was so warm and welcoming, and you had to sing a cappella for him. Yes, I had to sing. I sang Pun Replay. I sang another ballad from the album last time. So then what did he say to you? He said something to you. Oh yes, he said, we don't sing songs here, we sign artists. And there was this little pause, and I was nervous, but then he said, and we're interested, and there was this sudden feel of relief, but then he said about a window and a door or something. Oh, then he said, you did your homework. I did a lot off on you, this lady. He said, there are two ways to leave here, either through the door with the deal sign or through this window, and we're on the 29th floor. So you was like, where's the pen? Where's the paper I'm signing? Yeah, and I'm sure working with. Jay-Z, you met Beyonce, that's right. How was it like meeting her? I could not speak, really. That's someone I really looked up to for a long time, and it was after one of my showcases, and he was introducing me to everyone from the label. Then he finally said, okay, one more person, and there she was, and I could not speak, and she gave you some advice. Yes, she did. You just told me to, when I get on stage, let loose. Have fun and be in control. Yeah, and don't be afraid to let it go. No, cause she'd be like what how she does it, but we're going to be hooking up the whole audience with your CDA, thank you. But as expected, Jay-Z used his power to make all this disappear before it could get any bigger. The publicist who spilled the tea about the affair mysteriously came back and backtracked. He claimed he made all of it up in a desperate attempt to promote Rihanna's debut single Pon de Replay. He said, the PR stunt that I did was out of desperation to help break Pon de Replay, he said in this statement. It was reckless, and I didn't think it was going to work. I was just throwing spaghetti at a wall to see what would stick, but a lot of people did not believe this because they felt like Jay forced the publicist to take back the allegations, and then these allegations got even worse when a video resurface of the adult film star Hailey Dean making some serious allegations about Rihanna giving Travis Scott STDs. Hailey claimed in the video that Rihanna was dating her boss, who was a billionaire king in Africa. She allegedly gave him an STD as well. Jay allegedly infected Rihanna with chlamydia, and she's allegedly been handing it out ever since. And get this, the billionaire king in question had a whole wife back in Africa, and he allegedly went home and gave her some of that chlamydia. They say, you look like Rihanna, she hates me. Why? Because I worked with her a few years ago on this was when she had her foundation right before she launched her what was it at that time that Fenty, but no, I think it was before the Fenty, cause it was whatever Kylie came out with. They all went in cahoots. They were all arguing with each other, and that was when Kim came out with her line, Kylie came out with her line. But Rihanna had this foundation back in 2015, and it was her white gala, and that was when she kind of like was sponsored on MedBeds, High Tech, all that. Well, I helped fundraise her gala here in Hollywood. Well, she was my boss and gave my boss Chia, and here I am, the alleged, yeah, I am a butt. Everyone thought that I was the one my boss and in all reality, it was this. And so it just literally got to the point where all that came out that she got him sick that cuz. He was married. He's a, can you put your sleep on or behind you? You don't have to put behind you. He's a king or he's a prince in Africa. And so he came out here back in 2013, worked with Global Canvasser, which was a nonprofit, and then worked with UNICEF and the United Nations. That's where I got on, and I was able to partner with UNICEF and the United Nations. So I lived out in Australia for a little bit working with this corporation. Well, Hailey was not done with the allegations just yet. She also accused Rihanna of also infecting Travis Scott with her chlamydia. Travis used to date Rihanna before, but he kept the relationship a secret for the most part. And people believe it's because of the STD Rihanna had allegedly given him. Their relationship wasn't confirmed until one of the publishers of Complex magazine, Lawrence Schlossman, decided to be very messy and spill the tea about how Travis begged him not to publish his relationship with Rihanna. However, he still went on to announce it anyway. And this caused some tension between him. Travis and Rihanna, I broke the news about him and Rihanna, which they told me not to do. It's not because he's like, don't tell everyone I'm smashing Rihanna. It's because Rihanna's like, don't tell anyone that I'm smashing Travis Scott, please. It's clearly humiliating as hell, but that ain't all ly all y'all. Hailey said once Travis caught the STD, he left Rihanna and went back to Kylie, which means she probably got it too. Now, this ain't the first time Rihanna's been accused of spreading that STD that Jay-Z allegedly gave her a few years ago. Jaguar Wright also accused her of getting an STD from Jay and affecting Chris Brown with it. Apparently, Chris knew Jay was hooking up with Rihanna, but her infecting him with the STD is where he drew the line. Long are you guys neonate hold on to Chris Brown and Rihanna? You know what I'm saying? I don't understand why people keep talking about that. It was forever ago. They were both very young, and he had just had his first therapy outbreak from her giving him the herpes. Oh my, like, how did you know what I meant? Like, people don't understand what happened that night, and that's because Jay-Z worked so hard to change the narrative of that night. Now, Rihanna was only 145 when he started her and signed her to Def Jam. It's clear to say that the herpes that she had came from the person she had been most involved with, and that was Sean Carter. So here it is, Chris Brown gets his first herpes breakout from his famous girlfriend who he was hooked up with, and it was meant to be this, and it was supposed to be that, and he was there so people wouldn't pay attention to the fact that she was Jay's underage. Jay's gave her the herpes that she gave to Chris Brown. According to Jaguar, the infection is what triggered Chris to get aggressive with Rihanna that night. Not only did she get Chris infected, but when Chris pulled up on her in Davis's house to talk about the situation, he saw her having another man's D in her mouth, sucking the soul out of him. Allegedly, Jaguar also said that Jay and Rihanna decided to switch up the whole story and give an entirely different account of what happened so the truth wouldn't be exposed. Night when he had that outbreak and he bust into Davis's house and said, where the is this dirty at I can't fault him for that. He had, this is beautiful, tall, wonderful Chris Brown. She didn't ruin him. She ruined him at 19 years old. He's got the Jay-Z herpes, and it's unfair because now that's a part of his story, and Rihanna isn't innocent because she was in there giving that blow in the closet when Chris Brown came and he said, you're always something. Then he said, I'm done with this, and he stormed out of the house. Got into his very expensive car, and Rihanna chased after him. She gets in the car and starts fighting with him because he embarrassed her for calling her and saying in front of everybody that she gave him herpes the night before the Grammys.